Good evening. Welcome to your Ass Hurts News Network, coming to you live from the tip top of Cock Tower Square with your host, Sergeant Friday. Sarge, how you doing?
Please, I'm doing fine, and my back doesn't hurt.
Well, that's good, because your front's pretty fucked up.
My front's fucked up no matter what, right? What the hell? Well, I learned long ago that I definitely look good in the dark, so I do got that going for me.
Well, there you go.
You know, it's a crazy day in the neighborhood where poor Lady Liberty's being gang raped, and we're just sitting around arguing about who's innocent or guilty. What say you there, Cletus?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair statement. I would say that is a fair fucking statement.
Just insane, isn't it? It's tragic.
No, it's wild. It's wild.
It's tragic. No matter what case it is, whether it be the Idaho case, the Sebastian case, anything in politics, like it's rather insane when it comes to politics. Imagine a president wants to fire people that are under the purview of the executive branch, and he gets sued in court. I mean, the last thing you want to be is employed by people that don't want you there. I experienced that once, and what I did is I made the guy that was a highly skilled technician, I turned him into a part-time floor sweeper until he quit. I mean, nothing good was going to come of him not wanting me to not fucking quitting, or not wanting and telling me I couldn't fire him.
If the last thing you'd want is to be hired by people that don't want you there, it makes you wonder why anybody would ever want to be a politician.
Well, in the modern
nobody
world,
fucking wants them there.
In the modern world, it's simply because they're there for the grift, for the graft, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's just how it is. People aren't there for the right reasons, man. And yet here we are. I mean, you see all of these crazy ass fucking things happening through the legal system. I mean, I and then the legal system wants to file motions in court to prevent the truth from coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the scales of justice, just there are no scales. So it's like her arms have been tied behind her, right? And her mouth has been wired open, and her fucking skirt is pulled down around her ankles. And these prosecutors and these judges just they think they can do whatever they want when they want, and essentially that's what they've been doing since probably, I would say, since Bush won. That's really when everything went off the rails, was when that fucking Herbert Walker Bush got into office, and then his son got into office, and Clinton got into office, and that's where it all started. No political party has like a trademark on being corrupt and criminal.
No, that comes with the role of politician. I mean, quite honestly, I forget what the definition was of that word was, but I remember on here one night we looked it up and we're talking about that.
What word?
A politician.
Right, but it's only that way because we, the people, allow it.
Right.
That's the worst part. We all get up here, like, you watch all these channels that are talking about innocent or guilt, regardless of what motion is filed or how you interpret it. And rather than looking at the information for the validity of what it says and what it means, they want to apply it to one side or the other. Meanwhile, in the background, everybody's being gang raped. They're all fucking having fun and stealing your money. And they've distracted you with this happy horse shit that actually is just completely un-American. But even worse, it's terrible. How do you stick a guy in jail for almost 3 years before he goes to trial? How is that okay? And I don't care what the crime is. And then the lie that the defense is causing all this. Well, why? Because they're asking for information that the prosecution's supposed to give them. It isn't like Ann Taylor filed a motion to file. I'd like to know the exact distance between Jupiter and Earth on May 15th, 2020, because it does change every day, right? So, and American people just seem to have been brainwashed to follow these narratives that are laid out for them. And then they come on the internet, and most of the people out here are like, I climbed out of that fucking brainwash machine. No, you climbed into a fucking twin brother. You didn't climb out of that fucking machine. You climbed into a place where the fucking people out here, like people like me that you go and listen to, right, are doing the same thing to you the media does.
Yeah.
But because, some of these people, because these people are paid by your clicks and your donations, you think, I don't know what the fuck people are thinking. But, to entrench yourself like that drunk turkey kind of annoys me in a big way. And that he will literally lick the shit of whatever it takes for him to try to make a name for himself. And to me, maybe because I'm in the service industry, I just don't understand that you'll sacrifice the truth, or you'll sacrifice just your own personal moral standing to earn $1. I just can't wrap my head around that. To me, my opinion is that if you're going to do that, step up and go break into apartments and rob banks. Be a fucking man. Don't be some con man fucking pussy out here doing exactly what the mainstream media does and try to make your name for yourself. Do something that's going to be manly. Don't be a fucking pussy and come out here and tell people stories and lies and try to convince people this is what this means. It's just shocking to me how fucked up the whole, regardless if you're on the internet with the social media fucking people like me, or you're on the nightly news. There really is very little difference.
Yeah, no, they're absolute. One's just probably a little more refined at the craft of bullshit.
Well, like even Joe Rogan, and I hear these things going on in government every day. If someone broke the law and stole money, I want them charged. I mean, I can't go into a store. Let's say there was still penny gum. I could be charged with a fucking misdemeanor for stealing penny candy. And these cocksuckers are stealing millions. I don't want to know their names unless you're charging them. I don't care about Epstein Island. I don't care about any of that. Unless the people that you're going to name, I don't need to see the list of Epstein Island people. And that, to me, that's moralistic. It's none of your business what other people do unless what they do infringes upon the laws that we as a society have established, or you personally. It's just really none of your business. And, but people are all addicted to this. They need to know the names of the people that were at Epstein Island.
Well, people like drama.
Is it drama or is it just stupidity? It's the simplest, smallest denominator of what they can think about.
Well, there's really not any difference between the two. There's absolutely no benefit to drama, therefore it's stupid. So it is stupidity. It's entertainment. That's all it fucking is, right? It's like, oh, okay. They're gonna put out a list of fucking names associated with P. Diddy or Epstein or whatever. Well, who fucking cares? I don't care.
I really literally have no interest in knowing. It just doesn't seem to have any bearing on fucking reality. Right?
Yeah.
What's that got to do with the fucking Chrome tab? Let me see if I can get the Chrome tab up here. I want to put something up here from Twitter, but it's giving me a hard time. This fucking machine. Anyway, sorry about that, Cletus. I got sidetracked with X on bookmarks. Fucking insane, bro. Click, click, clack, clack, clack. What the fuck is going on?
There would be some benefit to building a computer more recently than 1992, right? I'm just saying.
I built this computer in 2010, and it's a 6-core, 16 gigabyte machine. What else do you need? Right? 6-core processor, 16 gigs, and a top-end video card from 2010. Everything works right. It never gets shut off. I mean, that's the best thing about it. All right, so here's the deal. If you guys look at this guy is in charge of the fucking defense department, and a federal judge ordered Pete to retract the post about disqualifying transgender troops I don't care who appointed the judge, and this is what irritates me. They're looking to get you outraged. The same Biden judge also said the idea of two sexes is not biologically correct. Well, nobody gives a fuck how many sexes you think they are, and nobody gives a fuck about anything other than just what is right and wrong. The guy said no more transgenders in the fucking military, and that's the right way to go, because what happens is they join as fucking young boys, and then the military, the taxpayer, pays for their fucking sexual conversion. They do the same thing with jails. And honestly, I don't care if you want to be a tick. Be a tick on your own dime, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to argue about how many genders there are. It's an argument that doesn't even entertain. In other words, it's like there were 2 cookies and you and your kid in the house, and you wake up, there's no cookies. The argument isn't who ate the cookies. The argument is, why did you do what you were told not to do? Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get into this depending, I didn't do it bullshit, then you just crack them on the ass and send them in their room. The idea that there's more than 2 genders isn't an argument even that should be entertained. But a woman that's going to come forward and tell you that there's more than 2 genders, I think she's in a military uniform in this image. He should fire her. Take all of them fucking whatever those medals are on her chest. And I don't know if that's a boy or a girl, but either way, it's one ugly fucking redhead, and just terminate them. Right? Look at that fucking bitch. Unbelievable, man. The Diddy Epstein stuff. What's that?
Your mic is cutting in and out, just so you know.
I think it does when I go off of. Is it doing it now?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's when I start feeding in images that probably owners of this website or this fucking service are left-wing cunts. And so they probably have an algorithm that fucks with you when you say things they don't like there's only 2 genders. Holy fuck. Unbelievable. But that, I wouldn't be surprised. There's got to be an algorithm that'll actually do that, right? Oh my God, help us. But with Lady Liberty, you look at what's happened to Koberger and how they play all of these games with the law, how they can actually not know who somebody is. Like I understand that Bill is arguing that he wants to use the IGG stuff. I could be wrong on that, but how do you go into a court, swear under oath, or swear to a judge that the IGG was not how you identified Koberger? And then later you're in another court and another judge saying that's exactly how you found him.
Well, and then to say that you have no intent to reference it, but then literally file a motion stating that your only intention in referencing it at trial is in regards to it being a tip. But if I don't know. I'm so over this fucking case. I'm anxious for, which I have really little faith that it'll actually go down in August, but I hope it does so that it'll fucking be brought to an end. Because at the end of the day, I don't see justice getting served. I just don't know.
No, I see it being caught in the court system forever.
Maybe. I mean, if the trial goes down in August, I don't think it will. I think it'll be he'll be fucking cleared, or he'll be found not guilty, and that'll be the fucking end of it. It'll be a fucking case that never gets solved.
Well, and I don't think that she really needs much more information to actually get this case put in front of a jury and the jury dismiss it.
Right.
The only thing they have is transfer DNA. That's it.
Yeah.
And but my objection to all of this process is that the judges themselves are their only job is to make sure the government doesn't run you over. They're not supposed to be on the government side. They're supposed to be a neutral observer, and they're supposed to keep everything based within the railings or the roadway of the law. And mainly that is to make sure that the government doesn't run your ass over. And so I just find it incredible that Judge froze all of these documents that are they're very consequential, and that now that they're put forward, you've kind of taken the 5.63 billion morons and told them that fucking Koberger was guilty. So they're unable to even look at the documents in any way, shape, or form from a neutral view. It's beyond their capacity. Even the guys that think he's innocent, it's beyond their capacity now to look at this new information that isn't new. It's absolutely the originating information that they claim they used to get to Koberger. So it's the very first steps that they took and the very first bits of information that they withheld for 2.5 fucking years. Now you find it. Now it's okay for us to read it. It's just mind-boggling to me. I don't know. Chat froze. Did chat freeze?
It probably did. It did that on her stream a minute ago, too.
I texted in there. I don't think it did. Front row. Cat's been abducted. Where's Diddy? You probably need to put some of your baby oil on that shit, Gray. My chat's moving smooth. What else are there? So there's the Gilgo case up in New York or Rhode Island or Long Island or whatever the fuck it is. There's another case, prosecutorial and investigative misconduct. And how many women died as a result of that? I think up to as many as 3 extra women were killed during the last 10 years. It's just insanity, man. You know, and then here's the other thing. Somebody needs to make sense out of why the wives' hair and other things are in direct contact with some of the victims, yet the wife isn't considered part of the criminal activity.
All right.
Where in another case in Idaho, there's 7 different pieces of DNA, and only one of them gets tested. And just make that make sense.
The more of this shit that I see come out, the more I'm gonna stand on until you show me something from the FBI. I don't believe the FBI did a fucking thing. I can't. I mean, you're willing to lie. You've proven that. It's documented. It's a fact. Then why should I believe? Why should I take your word on it that the FBI did anything?
The FBI took the same sample that Othram had identified 4 brothers with. And yet they came up with a completely different understanding. And I believe that it just doesn't make sense. Go ahead.
But per Brett Payne's statement in that one transcript, the FBI never told him that the DNA on that sheath was Brian Koberger's. They gave him the name Brian Koberger and said he should look into his DNA. That's what he said. So when I read that and I put that in conjunction with everything else we know about what was and wasn't tested and what we're told, I'm like, the FBI didn't do a fucking thing. Y'all didn't have a case. You didn't do your job. And at the end of December, you rushed and said, okay, who's the easiest person that we've got that we can pin this on? And you picked Brian.
Well, Brian was the only Brian was if what the work the FBI did was correct, I believe Ann is right, and that they broke through the process of the 4th Amendment, and the judges don't want to recognize that, and so let's get past that. Let's say that never happened, right?
Uh-huh.
And you have his transfer DNA. I can't understand. And maybe it's easy to understand. I just have not come across it yet. How the most microscopic particles of DNA that you can collect were found on that knife sheath in an area that we're relatively sure was brass. And you can ID that, but not blood. I can't wrap my head around that. Fair enough?
No, it's fair.
I mean, you got blood on the gloves. Obviously, it was enough blood to optically view. And isn't that enough? I mean, you can't optically view what they're using. You would need an electron microscope be brought into the courtroom.
My thing is, I mean, the blood, the blood on the gloves doesn't interest me that much. The DNA that would be inside the gloves interests me a lot more. Because
there you go.
The blood on the gloves would it would probably be assumed to be the victims. But there's definitely DNA
No,
inside.
no, no. They were unknown male. That was processed to be unknown male. But you just brought up another point, a fantastic point. Why weren't they swabbing the inside of the gloves like they were looking for a fucking hit of crack? Right?
Right.
I mean, they should put crackheads in these fucking labs.
You pick up a cigarette butt and test it, but you don't test the fucking gloves or the blood on the fucking handrail.
Or the samples underneath the fingernail of the one girl that's been deceased.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where there may be a good explanation for this, right? Because it's hard to imagine when you just don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. I can't think of a plausible explanation for why you wouldn't test these things. I can say that it's plausible that they did, and we just don't know that. But if they didn't test it, I can't imagine a fucking reason why they wouldn't.
But again, that's what I'm saying. You don't know what you don't know, and so therefore, the limited what knowledge we do contain doesn't give us an answer to understand that. Like, it makes no sense that on a case you can only upload one sample, and if you upload another one, it deletes the one before it.
Right.
I mean, that's the most backward jerk off fucking thing I could ever imagine. Right? It's like saying you can't put brake pads on a car because the minute you put a new brake pad on, the pad you do for the other side won't fit. What? It's like it just doesn't make no sense. And so make that make sense so that a common person can understand it. And why would you have a system like that? But yet, in a system that ignorant, you could take a microscopic speck, an ID Koberger, right? But that prevented you from identifying the other samples there. I don't even know why you need to upload it to CODIS. If that's the case, then let the lab develop the identifications of the other DNA samples. Let them swab the glove and get the fucking transfer DNA that you could then argue was direct transfer, directly touched because it came from inside the glove, right?
Well, and I don't know, because I don't know why CODIS is so fucking important when all it's going to do is show matches to samples that are already in it. But it's not a conclusive. This is definitely who it is. You know what I mean? The odds of it actually being in the system are going to be fucking low.
But that's the whole reason why I said Lady Justice is being gang raped. Lady Liberty. It's like, if there's a good reason, we can understand it. You need to just say it, because there's really nothing in man's world that's fucking complicated. If you could develop an identification from a microscopic amount of human skin cells, how can you not do the same thing with a blood sample?
Well, and at this point, 2.5 years in, there should be there's no reason for the prosecution to hide their fucking case or keep an ace in the hole or keep reasoning held back. I mean, you would expect that from the defense, not the prosecution.
Well, not even the defense, because it's not the defense's job to prove anything.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, you would expect the defense to be doing shit that people would perceive as sort of, shady or hiding something, but not the fucking prosecution. Like, if you get asked, why did you do this? It should be an easy fucking answer. But it's all these fucking lies and sidesteps of shit that just, I look at it and I'm like, what in the fuck is going on?
Well, see, like, there's a guy in here saying that they're protecting people. It's the frame squad. It's about the collar. You just don't know that to be true. And I'm not even going to debate whether there's accuracy to those arguments or not. But as an American citizen, I'd like to understand the processes under which you're prosecuting my fellow citizens, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of the crime, that's where we should have an ability. In other words, that's what we need to pay attention to, because it's in those processes as to whether you're going to either reelect somebody or ask for people to be fired. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to debate in how, who, what, where, why, when, who did it, why they did it, they planted this. That's not what we should be doing out here. We should simply be examining the information given to us and how it was collected and what their interpretation of it is, blah, blah, blah. And then take a position on that. Because that's really all the data you really can actually make any kind of decisions on. The idea that we can know who did this is just crazy talk. We're never going to know that. Even if they convict Brian, we still don't know that he's really, because again, and that's because we're not paying attention to what we should pay attention to as the American people. We're ignoring it. Or we're just accepting it, and we just throw our hands up in outrage and disgust. You got 7 samples of DNA, and the only one you tested seems to be the most impossible one, which appears to have been collected with a swab from the sheath, from the snap, which is made of brass, which is destructive to DNA. That's the sample that we have to take this kid to trial on? I'm just perplexed by the lack of community understanding of just how fucked up what Idaho has done here.
No, right? It's wild.
Can you give the police any credit for anything they did? To me, the only thing is they surreptitiously got a cigarette butt. That's the only thing I've seen that they did professional.
No, I can't give them any credit. I can't give them any credit. I can't give the prosecution any credit. I can't give anybody that signed off on anything with it any fucking credit, because at the end of the fucking day, if you can't stand in a courtroom and tell a lie without facing perjury, I don't understand how the fuck Bill Thompson is not in legal fucking trouble right now. I don't understand why charges aren't being brought up against him.
And here's the other thing. This is a problem, because I had to fire a lawyer over this. Is they got to work together long after your case is over. That's the rationalization these lawyers place against doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's just then you didn't get into the legal system for justice and truth. You got in the legal system for a paycheck.
Right.
Then go get a different job. Go be a fucking car crash attorney. Don't get into the defense of people or the prosecution of people if your motive isn't honest. And I'm not asking people to be saints, but be honest. How hard is that? That's kind of perplexing to me. I don't know how it is. I've said this for years. The difference between a child and an adult is becoming an adult means you got to learn how to lie and accept it.
Yeah.
Little kid will look at you and say, "Mommy, why that lady so fat?" And you want to say the same thing as an adult, but you don't dare. Right? It's just tragic that we've allowed ourselves to fall into this fucking hole of bullshit. And that's what I mean. You get online here and you're no better off at I don't care if it's Joe Rogan, if it's Tucker Carlson, if it's CNN, if it's MSNBC, or fucking the Drunk Turkey Show, the fucking Rory and the Tommies and the fucking everybody out there solving these crimes, coming up with all these crazy fucking theories. You might as well just, that's why I walked away from politics for 2 years. It's just, there's just no end to it. There's never any solution to any of the issues that are being shown. It's insane, Cletus. What the fuck are we doing here?
Well, solutions don't pay the bills in a drama-filled entertainment industry.
Yeah, but how do we allow all of these major issues that are really what's supposed to separate us from the rest of the world? How do we just turn it into entertainment? It's crazy.
Because that's all we're fed.
Right.
And if you think about that, right? Like, how hard is it? How unnatural does it feel to try and go find information and exclude all forms of typical fucking outlets? You know what I mean? Like, if you were going to go look into that Twitter post that you put up there, that's what I was thinking about. That is, I'm like, why the fuck even post that? You're talking about a decision that a Supreme Court judge has made on the Department of Defense head. There's nothing you can do about that. The Supreme Court judge is in the fucking position that, if I'm not mistaken, those are life appointments, are they not?
Right. There's I don't object to that because of the reasoning behind it. And in all fairness, I don't really see the Supreme Court that far off base. A lot of the Supreme Court stuff that gets attacked aren't final rulings.
But my point is, why even post it? There's nothing that can be fucking done about it. So why stir that fucking pot when there's shit that can't be acted upon that should be way more important? Do
Well,
you
it
see what
doesn't
I'm
matter.
saying?
It should matter how your Supreme Court rules on the interpretation of the Constitution. So that's what their only job is. It isn't to decide whether Kohlberger is innocent or guilty, right? If this case were to make it to the Supreme Court, it wouldn't be about his guilt or innocence. It never is in a Supreme Court. It's about the processes under which they obtained that verdict, and as to whether those processes are constitutionally sound. That's why there's appellate courts and the other courts above a court like you're in now, a district court. It's to vet out whether, and that's what I mean. That's why I've said to people now for years, the judge's primary job is to draw a line between government overreach and your constitutional freedom. Government has limits in the Constitution. Those are not your rights. Those are government limits, and Americans are too fucking stupid to understand that. It's as if having a right and having a limit on government means the same thing in people's minds, because they've been so outwardly mind fucked. There's a huge difference between that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what the Supreme Court. That's why I say it's probably the most important court in the land, and it doesn't get as much coverage as it should unless people disagree with their ruling. But those same people that disagree aren't digging into the rationale behind the ruling. You know, I'm not surprised. Do you want to go on panel with Sargent? I can advocate for that. Who are you talking about, Great Pearl? If you're going to advocate. Oh, I mean, Gray. That's what I mean. It's just incredible how far down the fucking just how far down we've gone as a society. There was a time where that was all that mattered. You're going to accuse somebody of a crime, that's fine, but let's see the process and let's see the work you did to come to this conclusion. And when it meets the criteria, you did it all, honestly. If someone told you something and blah blah blah, I don't know. In this case, the FBI doing what they did is a sneaky, underhanded thing that government is prohibited from doing. They're not supposed to do what the FBI did, and yet the FBI did. And the reason they did it was because no judge in the world would have given them a warrant for an unknown sample of DNA. I understand why they did it. I think what they did is pretty fucking clever, in all fairness. But laws need to be passed to either enable that or prevent that. And so that's why higher courts get involved. And in this case, she's already appealed to the Idaho Supreme Court, and these idiots in Idaho just rejected it. So the whole system of justice has just been converted into, and you could see it especially under this Trump administration. If you believe that men and women don't exist and there's 67 genders, which by the way are 67 acts of perversion, if you consider, I don't know, if you consider fucking other people in their butt, that's a gender. I don't know how people can, but anyway, that's what you're considering a gender. It's a sexual fucking perversion. And so, okay, you can live your life that way, but don't teach me and mine that. Yeah, I think this was an easy crime to investigate and solve. Somebody just said that, Delby. I mean, I think when they got to the point of phone and video, they should have placed the DNA of Brian Kohlberger on the back burner and continued to move forward with investigating the other 6 samples. What do you think?
I mean, I think they should have absolutely investigated the other 6 samples, but I also think they should have investigated the roommates. I mean, and that's, at the end of the day, one of the reasons why I'm ready for August, and I hope it actually happens in August, and I hope it gets over and done with, and I hope that, it's actually justice is served for this situation, whether it be he is cleared or found not guilty, or they prove that he actually did it. Because the only thing I could hope for is that, based on what I see, I don't think he did it. I don't think they can prove he did it. And I think somebody needs to reinvestigate this fucking situation. And the more time passes, the less likely they're going to come to a fucking conclusion as to what happened.
I'm going to tell this guy Van Savant to watch his language. How dare he? You see what's on the screen? I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to, bro. No, I mean, and it's the common sense. It's everybody has the capacity to use it. Like for me, I can't get past the multiple samples not being tested, because there just is no way to make that make sense, because nobody's come forward and said, first of all, you're telling me they're unknown male DNA. Well, that's a lot of information for a sample you're not testing. And the key word is unknown, but more importantly, you've identified a gender.
Right.
So how can't you go further with that?
Right.
But you could with a millionth of an inch skin cell had more fucking information than a swab that came from a blood stain. Make that make sense. I don't know. How much ejaculate do I got to spread all over my victim before you can ID me? Is a drop enough? Half a drop of my pre-com? What the fuck? Or do I got to blast every inch of the woman for you to get the ID? I don't get it.
And I mean, if they did do what they've claimed that they did with the DNA from the knife sheath, then what they're saying is they took probably the most impossible sample, identified that person, but let 6 others just set to the fucking wayside. But as soon as that one came back, oh, that's her guy.
I mean, that's what I mean. The people that commit rape got to go back and whack off on their victim again. I don't get it. I just don't understand. To me, if a skin cell can ID Koberger, then God forgive me, but how the fuck can a blood sample not do that for you? Or how can you not use that? I'm glad you made an excellent point when you brought up that glove. I mean, there has to be all kinds of transfer DNA inside that glove.
Yeah.
It's impossible not to be, right? The skin cells. And yet, and what's disturbing is there's half of the people out here that are arguing he's guilty, would see this exactly the way you and I are discussing it if it was being put out for the government to prove guilt.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Right?
Yeah.
So people like that Jeff H. If this could be twisted in a way to show guilt, because the narrative from the government was guilt, then these people would be all about discussing this. In other words, I don't think that they're that stupid. I think that they're intentionally contradictory just to be cunts. And there's many, many millions of people that are like that. Most of them vote Democrat. Not all of them, but a wide swath of them people vote Democrat.
They're called trolls, Sarge. They're called trolls.
They're not even trolls. They're just they just
antagonists.
There you go. They're antagonists. They're ignorant antagonists. And ignorance is there's a big wall between ignorance and stupid. Stupid can't be fixed. Okay? That you're born stupid and you're not fixing it. No matter how many books you go to the library and sign out, you're not fixing it. You're just stupid. Ignorance, though, is an unwillingness to be informed. That's the difference between ignorance and stupid. Ignorance is completely curable. These people don't want a cure. They think it's going to come from Pfizer in the form of a fucking shot. These idiots, like these people that lose weight by sticking fucking drugs in their body. Stop eating, you fat fuck. I mean, it's not that hard. Fat is made out of carbon dioxide and water. Prove that? Simple. You run, you sweat, and you breathe heavy. Okay? That's how you expel carbon dioxide and destroy fat, by water, sweat, right? No, we need a drug for that now. It's almost like it's like they joined the ignorance club and they just love being in the middle of it. They love to be contrary. And I just don't understand, man. I can't imagine how people can work their whole life or live their whole life being that way. That's what you see happening on Twitter all day long. Or X as it's now called. The willful ignorant get engaged by people that may in fact not be ignorant, and then the outrage ensues. making all of us, making both of you ignorant, right?
Yeah. No, it's a fair fucking point.
Here, BJ workout leggings. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but you got to wear leggings when you're giving a blowjob. I can't really understand that. and I'm going to remain ignorant. Please don't tell us.
All right, I will keep you uninformed as to what that is referring to.
It's not even that we can look back. I was saying that, and Clue was the only streamer out there saying that. And that's how I came across Clue. The only one talking about the people that were in the house before, during, and after the crime and were part of reporting the crime. But now we know that the reporting of the crime was lying about what was there. I can't understand that in any other way. That phone call shows an intentional deceit on behalf of the callers. What do you see?
I do see that to a degree, but I can't form a solid opinion until I hear it.
Man.
Peters,
if you call a septic company, are you going to say you want the shit pumped out of your tank? Or are you going to call a septic company and beat around the fucking bush? Well, I don't know. Maybe my drains kind of, I don't know. They don't work right or something. Or, there's the fuck, dude. The backyard smells like shit. There's shit coming out from some place in the middle of the yard. I need a septic truck. So now you got a house full of dead bodies that have been hacked by apparently a huge fucking blade, and you're going to call, and you're going to stick with unconscious, and you're going to stick with trying to tell a story about what happened at 4 a.m. To me, that's intentional.
I need to hear the call, and I need to see the body cam footage of whoever responded.
Now I understand that there is no body cam footage of the knife.
Well, how the fuck? Well, there should. Yeah, I mean, we knew there wouldn't be any body cam footage of the knife because they haven't found
the sheath. I'm sorry. The sheath.
So they're saying that the sheath was not on the fucking body cam footage.
My understanding from what I read and I listened to in a stream of someone that I do have some respect for, and that, they're very rare that I have respect for any of you motherfuckers. But for this one person, yeah, I wonder how many fucking. I'm gonna have to look after this. How many people we got? Actually, we're almost up to 2,400 subscribers, which would be the highest point yet. We're at 2,380, which is shocking, right? Because I am a fucking asshole. There's no question about that, bro. I mean, I just can't help myself. It's who I am. I'm not acting. And I'm not saying things to get attention. I'm just this kind of an asshole. It's just, I suspect it wouldn't be this obvious if there were, less retards out here. Cletus?
He said Cletus? Yeah, I mean, I don't, there's a lot of things with the 911 call. I've got just as many suspicions about it as I do the text messages between Bethany and Dylan.
I'd like to see pre 4 a.m.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm adamant on, I think Bethany's records and her statements tell the fucking story. And for me, they tell the story as to whether Dylan is full of shit or law enforcement is full of shit, or both.
We already know law enforcement is full of shit.
Well, we know that they're full of shit, but are they full of, how full of shit are they, and how full of shit is Dylan? And I think Bethany's statements and her phone records will clarify that.
Well, I can say this is for sure, that the narrative that they slept until they got to the police is wrong. The fact that they didn't know that there were dead bodies in that house is wrong. The fact that 10:30, and I was thinking about this today, that's probably now, believe it or not, as much as I can't stand that fucking, that Kim, that WSU mom, or whoever the fuck she is, to me, it seems like there's now enough information to make it more likely that somebody did pass that information off to another friend that were there at the property at the time, because now we have a specific time. The understanding that I've had was they called the friends before the police, but we never knew how much before. Now we know it's 90 minutes plus before the police were ever called. So you mean to tell me that the stench that had to be coming out of that house didn't alert anybody that was there? No, nobody viewed any of this. What are their phones? Were their phones calling Kaylee? Were their phones calling Maddie, Zana, or Ethan? What were the people? Did they collect all? Maybe that's why there's 67 electronic devices. Where are the text messages from the people that were there? What did they know? Why did everybody wait 90 minutes to call? There's just so much of a, this is what I mean. The justice system is so fucked. We shouldn't have to wonder and guess. That data should be released to the public.
Yeah, the 67 devices is fucking wild to me. The financial records of all these fucking people is wild to me. I don't, like, there's so much shit that they're planning to present that I do not see how the fuck it correlates to showing Koberger is guilty. It's just beyond me. I can't imagine a fucking connection there.
Well, I also have a serious concern that, and I hope this did happen, that the defense team sampled all that DNA to its infinite fucking end. We do know that the scrapings under the fingernail are not Koberger, and I think there's a sample of blood that's been excluded on the knife sheath.
Yeah,
he's been excluded from those samples. So, I mean that, and I hope they did that with all the DNA. I even hope that they ran it to ground to identify who the samples potentially came from and bring it into court and say, why aren't these people here? Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe anybody. And look, and I also suspect the neighbor saying the door was open at 8 a.m. when they walked their dog. I want to believe that to be true. And there's supporting evidence to suggest it makes much sense. When the policemen are telling us that they walked into a home that the victim's doors were open, including the door behind of which there was a dog on the bed. So if the victim doors were open and the front door was open, it would make sense that they were airing the house out.
Right.
Right? Because you're talking eight hours in between the time of death and the time of the police showing up. I don't think it takes that long for you to expel your, and God forbid, we don't know where these knife wounds were. But if they were anywhere in the gut section where your intestines are, then forget it, man. It's going to smell.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, right? I mean, I remember I was driving on the freeway to get cigarettes with this girl I was dating at the time. We went by a farmer's field, and it stank. And I looked over and I said, "Did you brush your fucking teeth?" She was swearing at me, hit me while I was driving. I was like, "You're gonna kill us. You need to die. You need to die." Motherfucker, right? That shit was funny. Did you brush your teeth? But so there's enough. That's the problem. There's just enough to try to make conclusions with the information that we have. But those conclusions seem to get turned upside down the more that you find out. Right? We went from understanding an 11 to 13 Halandra was at that house and identified by an FBI agent. And now we're being led to believe that nothing can identify what the cars were or were not.
No, that's fair. That is fair.
It's a huge tragedy. The justice system is so tore up from the floor up, and that's why I don't care who you voted for. Black Lives Matter was right about that. The corruption is systemic. It's built into the system. And these police and these prosecutors and these other people involved in law enforcement and your justice system have been taught to do things that they think are their normal fucking course of their duty. I think the first and foremost things with a cop is that you need to change is you need to tell them if you're caught speeding, you're going to get fined just like a citizen, and we're putting a monitor in your car. Right? Secondly, your cell phone is going to be monitored. And any transmission that comes from that vehicle that's not related to the job at hand, you're going to be billed by the minute, and you're going to be sanctioned. You don't talk on the phone while you're driving. If it's emergency related, okay. In other words, the rules need to be put in force, and they need to be enforced. With the electronic surveillance that they claim to have the ability to use against us, we as a citizens should demand that it's used to make sure our law enforcement stay within the bounds of fucking legality. That's why those cameras are on them now. I forget what you call those cameras, but you know what I mean.
The body cam?
Body cams, yeah. Yeah, there was something going on with. Did you hear where that sheriff came in and shot the judge dead?
Yeah.
Caught it on
In
video.
Kentucky. Yeah, in Kentucky. Yeah.
Wasn't there something about some child stuff in there?
Yeah, I don't know the entire scenario, but it sounds like that it was some kind of fucking shit where they were basically trading lesser sentences for sexual favors, and it seems like the judge and that sheriff were both involved in it. So
yeah, it's so yeah, man. There's so much to fix. It's just anyway. So how are you and Clue doing down there in the greater southern area of the United States?
good, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got me another wild fork delivery with all my T-bones and my fucking ribs and my pork chops and my ham and my chicken.
Oh, well, you've got fuel for your 5.5 hour afternoon nap then, don't you?
Well, it's not quite 5.5 hours yet. Yeah. I do a good 90 to 120 minutes.
I mean,
right after I eat.
Yeah, 3 pounds of fucking T-bone will do that to you.
1.85 will do it to you too. Yeah. And I look around locally, and their prices per pound are nowhere near what it is for wild fork. They're way higher. So well, yeah,
have a bag of chips come down from $3?
Well, I buy them by the case now. Those single serve. So I'm getting my chips at 50 cents a bag. Less than.
But I'm in at the store.
No, I don't know because I don't look anymore. I'm content. Like I ordered 36 packs of Oreo cookies. You know those that you buy in the store, the 6-pack of Oreos?
Yeah.
Yep. But you can buy them in a box of 30. That's what the store buys then to resell them to you.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's what the woman that's here. I used to date the girl Renee, and but she's been here. She's called me frugal, and I thought that was a nice way to call me a cheap fuck. But yeah,
is.
Right.
That's the politically correct term.
Right. Why do you have so many fucking rolls of toilet paper? I said, so that I don't run out. You need it. If I could buy milk in bulk, I would. Shit that you need on a weekly basis. I'm not going to the store every week to buy it.
Buying milk in bulk is called a cow, Sarge.
I understand that, but I really don't have any place for it to graze. So, and I'm not going to be out there milking it. I'm not going to be out there processing it. And don't they fortify that with vitamin D or something?
I mean, they can.
You need to have that many Oreos before they turn into mush. I order a 36-pack of Ho-Hos and Twinkies. And I'm a trim 159 pounds at 5'10". Huh, how you like them apples? I got a fat head, the rest of me skinny. I think we can all get on board with that description. Oh, man.
And a bad back and a worse front, right?
The front is worse than the back, although the back isn't that pleasant either. Although I really haven't had a good view of it in many years, but I can't imagine it getting any better than when the last time I saw it. Holy crap. You just never know. Not everything is based on looks, which is a fucking lie, but, it's just not supposed
to be. He said, which is a fucking lie.
What the fuck? What else do we got here? So we got the Southerners and that wedding. Still no date. You guys were supposed to have had a date. Now no date. You went past that date. Every time you set a date, you pass it by.
Yeah. And then she said if Betty goes to jail, we'll get married that day. And now she's already reneged on that.
Has Betty gone to jail?
No, but she's got her criminal hearing actually next Wednesday, a week from now.
You guys going to show up at it?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can you record it by any chance?
No, but I've heard that it will be recorded by the local news. So, yeah.
Well, there you go. And what is she charged with?
6 counts of violating orders of protection.
Oh yeah, you're going to spend some time. You're going to get 90 days for that. Watch. You get 60 for time served. You know what I mean? You get credit. You get 1/3 of that in credit if you're good.
It can be anywhere from 1 month to 11 months and 29 days
per count.
Yeah, but they'll settle out for a 90-day stint in a county. I spent a little time in the county, played a lot of chess, met a black guy that looked exactly like the fucking Grinch, except he was black. Exactly like the Grinch. It was incredible. I'm telling you, it's just you. And we met a guy down there that we nicknamed him Kickstand because he had a fake leg from the knee down, and we call him Kickstand. We got another friend that's into the car scene, and we call him Lieutenant Dan because he's got no legs. Because we're just a very pleasant group of people.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck, man? No, 90 days ain't that long. Unless it's in the peak time of the good weather, then you're like, fuck.
I mean,
Right?
I'd be happy if she got 90 days. It'd be the longest stint she ever fucking served in jail because I don't think she's ever been convicted of anything. So,
no.
If she actually gets convicted, then I'll be happy. Because
what is the order of protection for?
Basically, she's not to have any contact or come around Chris's mom and stepdad, and she's not
any of their minor children. The judge basically told her these people don't exist to you anymore.
And the violations were issued because right after the orders were made permanent, she went live and talking about them and had hashtagged their names in her live, and they considered that third-party contact and a violation.
She talked shit about the judge. She talked shit about the judge's grandchildren.
I don't know that you can consider it because I don't know what it is there, but in New York State, it's called a stay. The technical term is stay-away order. They call it an order of protection. And it's a stay-away order under my understanding is that you cannot willfully place yourself in the presence of these people within 500 feet or whatever the order says. However, coming across these people or talking about these people would not be a violation. I think they're going to, I think it would be interesting. I would fight that in court. An electronic communication calling somebody a piece of shit that had you arrested for something isn't, in my understanding, that is not a violation. Unless you do it in a way to make sure that they're through a third party, they come in contact with it. So if you had an order against me and I'm talking to somebody that because the likelihood is of getting back to you. But even then, this is an interesting case. Look at that. That stupid fucking butthole Betty with tits that hang down to the floor.
I don't think she would have ever gotten a restraining order. I don't think it would have ever been approved had she not jumped out at a stoplight at Chris's stepdad and started hollering at him in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes if they can't be defeated in court. In all fairness, if the only argument of violating the order, unless it was written right in the order of protection, that this includes
social media,
right? So talking. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, so I mean, she, by the law, she has violated it. So
way more than 6 times.
Yeah, I mean, I am interested in seeing the outcome of it and the ruling on it, but I feel confident that they are gonna basically uphold the orders because if I'm not mistaken, well, they are upholding the orders. It's a matter of the criminal charges, what they do with it. So
yeah, I'd like to see a restraint or how it's written. She didn't contact them by hashtagging them. They got websites, so was it a hashtag directly to their Facebook page, or was it just a hashtag Chris Rogers, Katie Rogers?
It was on YouTube.
Yeah, it was hashtag Chris Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, Sebastian Rogers.
So how was that putting her in contact with them?
Well, like you said, right, if they communicate through a third party, right, anybody on the internet could see that video and send it to them.
I would have fun with that if I was a lawyer. I think you could defeat that. I'd take that to trial.
Well,
the hashtag and putting someone's name up there should not be a violation of a stay away order. And the fact that you want to talk about them and even point out that they're this, that, or the other thing, right? Or point out their kids missing and you suspect that these people were involved in the blah, blah, blah. I don't know how that could be considered a violation of a stay away order. Even if you're doing it on a public platform, that should be, in other words, that's an interesting argument. And I would fight that argument because I usually a stay away order is simply that, no contact with them. And she's not making contact with you by hashtagging your name.
I mean, it's, there is an argument to be had there, but it comes down to what's in the statutes about it, right? If it
maybe I should come down to her courtroom and get her off just to piss everybody off. I would want an understanding of the definition contact, but hashtagging someone's name isn't contacting them unless that hashtag leads directly to them and leads them to you, right? But then there's also the other side of that. They have to physically click on that. They have to take an action because what she didn't put her in contact with them people. I would have a field day with this in court.
But I think there's an argument to be made for third party is likely when you are on a public platform, you're known to publicly be covering this case, and
right.
you hashtag the names of people that you have that have orders of protection against you, and you know that people are watching you that are in communication with them. And when you hashtag somebody's name, somebody that has an interest in that person, which a lot of people do right now, are going to see that. It's going to get fed to them, and therefore they're likely to let them know.
And you use their pictures,
right? I mean, I won't
like,
argue that it's an interesting argument, right? But
I honestly think that the argument against that being a violation would be a fun argument.
Well, here's the problem. She could have come here and argued her point in the very beginning, but she didn't. Instead, she decided to show up the next day, even though she was obviously made aware through social media of the court case.
Right. The argument should have been had against the order of protection at all, right? And when it wasn't made and the orders of protection were issued, then it becomes a situation of, okay, what's involved in an order of protection? And the judge specifically said social media of any kind.
Contact of them through social media of any kind, but that doesn't qualify to what she did.
No, he said you are not to talk about them. You are not to bring them up. These people no longer exist in your world.
Yeah, I think that that's why it makes the case interesting. The judge is going too far. Well, an order of protection, let me just, so you understand, it's a stay away order and you can have no intentional contact with them. The idea that you're going to still continue to talk about their case and them it can't be covered because that's an item of free speech. So now what he's doing is he's taking away her right to discuss that case. And if she's online talking about cases of missing children and crime, he's going to the point of they have to go to her now to hear that. She didn't send them an email. She didn't send it to their Facebook account. She didn't. If you can't show she instructed somebody to show them this video, then any observation of the video would be on the person that filed the restraining order coming to her. And if they come to her, she can't be in violation of the stay away order. No different than if she goes shopping at the grocery store and walks in the store where they are. You can't be violated for that unless you can prove her going to that store was intentional.
Hold on. It must not work the same where you are, which we've kind of heard things like that about the North. But if Betty walked into a grocery store where, let's just say, Chris Proudfoot was, or his mom, right?
Right.
She would be made to leave the store. And if she didn't, she would be arrested.
No. Well, look at the rulings from the Supreme Court. I went through all of this. Listen, my ex filed through a divorce order protection against me because she said she was afraid I'd get a gun and shoot her. The truth was I didn't own a gun, and that I was a felon that could not own a gun. And so therefore it was a complete fucking lie. Yet they put an order of protection against me. So I go to court for a hearing for the divorce, and I lean over my lawyer, and I said, "Can you just get this done so we can get this fucking cunt out of my life?" And she or her lawyer hears some of that, and they file a violation of the order of protection against me. And I went to 3 lawyers that are arguing the way you guys are arguing, that I was in fact in violation. But my position was, and I found case law to support this, that if I was ordered into that court because of her filing, and because the protection order is a stay away order, you would have to show my intentionality. And you can't show that. No different than, and here's the case law that I found. If you live on the same street as me, and I have to walk by your house to catch the bus or go to a store or to walk my dog, you can't violate me on the order of protection. No more than if I went to a grocery store that you happen to be at. You would have to prove my intentionality to put me in your presence. That's how those work. And I can't imagine it being different down there because these were Supreme Court rulings against orders of protection. And I fired my lawyers and did the case myself. And the judge told me, "Why aren't you a lawyer?" I said, "Because I ain't got time for this shit. I got a business to run." So I got the case dismissed. I asked for him to dismiss it with prejudice, and he laughed. He goes, "Yeah, you should be a lawyer." He goes, "We're just going to dismiss this and act like it never happened. Okay, sir?" I was like, "Sure, okay, whatever." So there are details within orders of protection that I think are universal around the country. What happened? I got 2 Cletuses here.
Yeah, I don't know. You were talking, and all of a sudden it went quiet, and I looked at the phone, and the fucking app closed.
Oh, so I'm just saying she has an interesting fight against that if she chooses to fight it, but she's probably like most idiots and take a plea deal. Her lawyer will probably advise her on that.
Well, she's appealing it. She's appealing the protective orders. She can only appeal. She can only appeal 1. The judge has already said the first 3 are going to stay.
Okay.
Yeah, and the 6 violations are based on the first 3 that are not appealable.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
What do the chat people think? What do you people think out there? Are you thinking that she's going to get burnt? I think, my personal opinion, she's going to plead guilty to something, because that's what a lot of defendants are tricked into doing by their own lawyers. That's the systemic fucking corruption within the system.
I don't think she's going to plead guilty to anything. I think I do think she is entirely too fucking stubborn to do that. I think she believes that it's bullshit, and she will stand on its bullshit regardless of the outcome. And, maybe she's right, maybe she's wrong. I don't remember specifically all of the verbiage and everything, but I do remember when I was looking into it, I was completely against it. I didn't think that the orders of protection were justified per the law, but once I read through everything, I absolutely see that it is. I mean, the way the law is written, if somebody chooses to do so, they could absolutely get an order of protection and should be granted one in this state based on what she's done, and she should be violated for it based on what she's done. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I don't think she would admit that. They'll offer up something else. When you plea bargain, they never make you fucking agree to the crime that you committed anyway. That's the fucking way the system's been corrupted. I don't like her either. But I think she has an extremely interesting argument to be made if the violation is based on her live streaming about a missing child that happens to include the parents that have a restraining order against her. I don't know how the judge in any way, shape, or form can limit her speech on that subject.
But I think, so in terms of issuing an order of protection, I would agree. But once there has been enough to justify an order of protection, I think you forego a little bit of your rights, right? When you become a fucking prisoner, you forego a little bit of your rights. An order of protection is not making you a prisoner, but it is limiting your rights to some extent to protect other fucking people.
Well, you need to look in your state to see if your order of protections are based on a stay-away order. If it's based on a stay-away order, then you have to show the intentionality of contact. And I'm not so sure that you can do that because she was online.
So
the intentionality.
It's not just a stay away. It goes down through the route of stalking and harassing as well, and it absolutely includes the internet.
But to me, she would have to cross the bounds and directly interact with those people with intentionality. How?
I just told you.
Okay, say it again. She actually had a stream and she hashtagged their names into the stream.
She trespassed on their property.
After the orders were issued?
Nope, before. That's why they got them.
Okay.
She trespassed on their property.
Okay.
And then she lied about it in court, got caught in a lie by the damn judge. Then she jumps out of her car at a stoplight, hollering and filming herself doing this at Chris Proudfoot's stepdad.
And she had a restraining order on her when she did that.
No, that's why they went and got them.
All right. Well, I'll give you another example because somebody said, he said, act like they don't exist. And there are many times where a judge can say something to a plaintiff and they have no authority. I went through a divorce. I was being ran through the fucking dirt. And the judge told me, don't you dare file for bankruptcy or I will hold you in contempt. And I left that court and immediately filed for bankruptcy. And when I came back to court 3 weeks later and he knew that, he started to address me and my lawyer, and I put my hand on the lawyer's shoulder and I sat him down and I stood up and I listened to his fucking tirade. And I said, as far as I remember, you're a state Supreme Court justice that has no authority over federal law. You have no jurisdiction to order what I can do federally in federal courts. Your jurisdiction ends and starts in New York. So I filed for bankruptcy no matter what you told me to do. And if you want to hold me in contempt for that, I may find a way to pay for this divorce in a way that nobody had expected. And I just looked him in the fucking face. Sit down, he said. And I sat down and he never brought it up again. So it's not always, the judge can tell you to do, suck my dick. What do? So if he's telling Betty, act like they don't exist, I understand the instruction. But the instruction is based on the limits of the stay-away order. It's got to be written in there that she can make no mention of them, no streams of them, no blah, blah, blah. If it's not written in there, then you have loopholes. Pardon?
That's what we're trying to tell you. It is in there.
She was told specifically not to stream about them or that case?
These people no longer exist in your world at all. Don't talk about them, dream about them, masturbate to them, nothing.
The judge can't order that. I'm telling you. He can say that all he wants, but he can't enforce that. Like that state Supreme Court justice couldn't enforce his argument that he'd hold me in contempt if I don't file for bankruptcy, or you'd be in contempt of this court. And the first thing I did, I swear to God, that very day, I found the bankruptcy lawyer and had him file for bankruptcy. Because it's a federal right. He can't prevent me from my federal rights. And the judge was fucking screaming and yelling and banging his gavel. He's besides himself. That's why I made my lawyer sit down. I explained myself to the judge. If you're going to take away my federal rights, if you think you have that power, then you need to hold me in contempt, put me in jail. Go right ahead. I'll find another way to pay for the divorce just based on you doing that to me. And what I'm saying is, I don't think the judge's statements in a courtroom or even in writing, if they go beyond what the order are designed to do, then you can't enforce that. You can fight that, is what I'm saying. And I don't know. I would love to see how it turns out if she actually fights them. Because I can't see hashtag and contacting. I don't see how you can interpret that as making contact with the victim.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, because the judge that ordered it is the judge that she appears before next Wednesday for the violations. So,
all right. Is it going to be live streamed or anything?
I doubt it'll be live, but it is. From what I understand, the news is going to be in the courtroom recording. So,
really, I hadn't heard that.
I heard that today somewhere.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're
She was stalking him.
Because they did last time, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to look up what your Tennessee order protection laws are. I think that, but that woman should listen. I'm not arguing and sticking up for Betty. I just think that the case is interesting, in as much as how much what you shared with me, just to me is like, it's just interesting how you hashtag somebody's name and you stream about the missing person case, which happens to include them. How that can be interpreted as contact is just kind of funny to me. I can understand if they link to their page, or they link to a neighbor or a friend or a coworker or a cousin or a brother or somebody that you could directly interpret as meaning that through a third party she made direct contact, even because it was she went around the corner. But if all she did was hashtag the name, that would be awesome. But I still say to you, she's going to get threatened by the court, or through her lawyer is going to convey to her she could spend a year in jail. Just take a plea deal. I tell you, in most cases, that's how these things end up anyway. The courts don't want to fucking have trials over shit like this. After being told they don't exist to you. But again, the judge can say whatever he wants. The judge can say we live on the moon. It doesn't mean we live on the moon. That's what I mean, folks. The law is the law. It's what's written in that order that she has to follow. That's why that would be important to see the order. And I'm baffled that a hashtag would violate the order. I'm baffled the judge would even know what the fuck a hashtag is. You want to know the truth? How many judges even know what that is? They got all their law clerks doing all their work. So anyway, what else is happening besides Butthole Betty? You guys are going to do it Wednesday? Are you going to stream about it?
I'm sure.
Yeah, after I'll go live.
What time is her court hearing?
9.
If she even shows up. Does she live there?
She has to come. The last time they allowed her a Zoom meeting, but the judge told her from now on you will be in the courtroom.
So wasn't this Great Pearl's asking you a question? Wasn't that a response to being asked how it pertains to social media?
Yes, the lawyer for the Proud Feet specifically asked the judge, does that include social media? And the judge said the order speaks for itself. It is very plain in its language. These basically, he ended it with, these people no longer exist in your world.
Yeah. I should contact Betty and see if I can't convince her to fight the case. What do you think, Cletus?
I mean, I think she is fighting it, but she's got a motion filed that same day as well. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I don't know. To me, I don't really know how else she can fight it. I mean, she hasn't really fought it yet. She's filed for continuance after continuance, but she hasn't really put up a fight. And now it's coming to the criminal hearing, and I don't know how much fight there is. So
yeah, and I'm going to look up. I don't know if I'll find a link to your Tennessee laws to see what an order of protection entails. I think there's going to be different ones, but like even now, if a wife files an order of protection against a husband, they take his guns, and I think that's been found unconstitutional. I think that if there was any mention of the guns as a means to get the order of protection, he drew a gun on her, or threatened her with a gun, then I think you then have some power there as a court. But they've tried to blanketly apply that. These women rights groups that once the order of protection is filed, the man loses his guns, and that's just not constitutional. The guns had, if he slapped her, but there's been no, or whatever it is, but there's been no reports, there's been no history of anything, there's been no guns involved in any of the conflict, then it becomes an arguable point, and I think that was argued in the Supreme Court. I'm almost sure they ruled or are going to rule that there has to be guidelines. You just can't blanketly start taking people's guns. Sorry, I'm not sure you should open that door. You know the saying, if you feel them, they'll never go away. Well, I don't know. It depends on how much you fit. Does your finger smell like a sardine? That kind of a feel, or I don't know what you're saying. Cletus?
Something tells me after her it would.
Holy shit, anywhere you touched her, right? Just walking by her, she probably smells like a fucking fish processing plant for McDonald's. She must work. That's a place to work. You want to work, make a lot of money. Get on one of those ships that catch all them fish for McDonald's, those cod. Yeah. That's maybe Butthole Betty should do that. Stand right in the middle of the ship so the waves never bounce the boat around. You could use her as a fucking ballast.
Something tells me that's way too much work for her.
And look at someone saying I have a crush on Butthole Betty. Oh, Butthole Betty and Sarge sitting in a tree and it caved in because that fat ass of Betty's destroyed it. Fucking A.
She's actually not. So I will say this. She's always saying that she's like this petite little woman, right? I can honestly say the camera does not do her justice because she is actually really, really, really fucking tiny.
How tall are you, Clue?
5'4".
You're petite.
Oh.
Petite defines a woman's height, not her girth.
I know, but that's what I'm telling you. Betty is a very small person.
Is she?
Yes.
I didn't know. I never liked that woman. She's like the whole group that hung around her. Whatever happened to that little T-Rev guy, that midget guy with Tyrannosaurus Rex arms that was the best friend of fucking Seth, who stole Seth's crush.
You mean
Seth never touched that woman? Yeah. Is he still out there?
As far as we know, yeah.
That T-Rev and
they don't never come out of the house, so I mean, seeing them is probably an impossible feat. But
he's got to be doing something for money by now, right? I mean, what was he on? Some kind of assistance or something?
No, he just did his YouTube. But something tells me that they're broke.
Yeah, but petite doesn't refer to the body size. It refers to the height. Any woman 5 foot or under is petite. You can go to a store and get a petite dress size 34 and be in the petite department. I found that out the hard way. I thought petite, like everyone else, meant you were describing a very small woman. And all, short and thin and no real big boobs or big ass, or a petite woman. But that's not the accuracy of what the word petite means. And so all my life, I thought I was dating petite women. And I met a petite woman. This girl had to weigh probably fucking 500 pounds. I met her from Match.com. She described herself as petite.
She was petite, but had a really big ass.
A really big ass. Yeah, and they hung up. So yeah, petite. I know we all have an idea what petite means, but if you look it up, I'll look at it. And this is going back a long time now. I haven't been on Match.com in years. Now it's back to small and petite. What defines someone as petite? It was petite is the term used in a fashion to describe a woman who's 5'3" or tall or under. Petite women come in all shapes and sizes, whether a size 4 or a size 14. And I'm telling you that's how it's been defined. Petite refers to stature, not weight. So there you go. So Butthole Betty. Well, even Clue would be considered petite. Yeah. So anyone, I thought it was 5'4" and under. Now they've moved it to 5'3", but I know for sure it used to say 5'4". And I was given that definition by the woman I met. Yeah. Miss Q's got me all hooked up with Butthole Betty. I say no. I don't think so. I never really even looked at what Butthole Betty looks like. I've seen her on her stream once or twice, but I never really wanted to pay attention to her. Candace Martin is saying somebody got me. Who got me? I don't even know. Where's Heather? Yeah, look at Heather. She's got a picture of a highly most attractive woman on here in the dark. Look at Heather Fitzgerald's fucking picture. Heather, you're the hottest woman I've ever seen in the dark, baby. Oh my God, her pancakes are flat. Do you mean her boobies? She got the thin boobies, flat boobies. Right? There used to be something itty bitty. What the hell they used to say when we were in grade school and in junior high? She's part of the itty bitty titty committee. It's the total solar eclipse. Yeah. Yeah. Go right ahead. You can make any excuse you want there, Heather. That's exactly not what it looks like. But anyway, yeah. You look fantastic in the dark. It must be the eclipse that just it shines on you. No, that's on Friday, isn't it? Today's only Wednesday. I thought it was Friday at 2 yeah. It's from April 20. It's from April 8, 2024. Yeah. That's okay. You can look at how convenient that works out for you there. Dark woman. Let's see. Yeah, most women do have pictures of themselves in their avatar. I got my picture up on the screen. That's me. Although my hair now is much, 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 much longer than that. So that picture's about a year old, maybe 10 months. Let's see. We got Carl. He's just a C. Carl's just a C. It's like me saying a bad word without saying a bad word. Let's see. We got cats up there. We got My Little Pony. We got Gray Pearl up there. Who else has got pictures of who they be? It's from April 8th. My photo was me in my father's lap around 4 years old. Oh, look at that. Looks like it goes back to the 70s. How the hell are my God, Candace? What are you, 100 years old? Look at Michelle got a picture. Most women generally have pictures of themselves up there. We got W, Carl's woman. Yeah. Yeah, we got Miss Q. She looks kind of like a vampiress. Yep. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. Blame Kane. I don't know who that is. There's Heather. I'm older than Betty. Oh, she says mid-90s. Women are so sensitive about their age. A lot more often than not, men will age like fine wine and women age like milk. It's just the way it is, ladies. I don't know why. I mean, I wake up every day, I'm a bit exhausted with being so handsome. And we should have Cletus and Clue in here to attack me back. But nope, we got no one in here to attack me. I got the free ride up here. I can say and do as I please. Absolutely awesome. Federal judge has blocked President Trump from revoking security clearance of Perkins Coie, the law firm that worked with the Hillary Clinton campaign to create the fake Russia narrative. All patently false, all lies, every single bit of it. And Trump needs to sign an executive order that he will ignore all lower court rulings until SCOTUS rules on the constitutionality of it. Trump wants no taxes for people who make less than $150,000 annually. But he's only for the rich, according to, these idiots on the fucking Twitter. Yeah, I agree. I think she should argue the judge's order as well. What the hell is that? A picture of a dog? Yeah. Well, original 62 appears to be some type of dog. Pretty nice, right? Dark-haired, light complexion. There you go. Simmer down, Miss W. Wow, look at that, Miss W. Carl Ferguson is putting his foot down. Yeah, Miss W's being nice, but look at that. He's coming for you there, Miss W. He's telling you to simmer down, old Carl. I don't know. I don't know how many of you were able to see this. Let's see here. Do I still got it up? This is just stupid, man. Present. Share screen. Window. We have it live over here. There you go. That shit's just wrong, ain't it? I have a bad back. The front's pretty fucked up, too. Oh, my. Oh, look, not Heather Fitzgerald. There you go. Not Heather. Bit blurry. Who the hell is not Heather Fitzgerald? Janet Jones? Hello, Janet. See that women mainly do put their pictures up here. Men don't, for whatever reason. Original is a dog. I don't know. They're not Heather Fitzgerald. She's got a better picture up here than you do, Heather Fitzgerald. Janet Jones got a picture too. I don't know. Some of you women are lacking. No pictures. Oh, man. Not another knot. People ought to be not Sergeant Friday. That would be cool. What's Twiz saying? Where's Twiz? Is Twiz in here? What did Twiz say? I don't see Twiz in here. There he is. My pick is me too. Yeah, you're a big T. I paid her to say that. It's all Twizzle's fault. What's new, Twizzle? Twizzle me this. Man, I sure hope we have that trial in August. That trial should be sooner. Kane B has a not Jeff H too. Yeah, that guy's a fucking... I don't even know, man. A lot of people out there just want to take the opposite side of something because, I don't know, they want attention without having to think. He was the OG, not Twiz account. Oh. I don't think they're going to remove the death penalty. I don't think the prosecution can remove the death penalty. And I say that because it's my view is pretty simple. They want to hold the death penalty to imply to the world and especially the jury just how serious and how strong their case is. That's what they're going to do here. They're going to find every way they can possibly to keep that from being removed from as a death penalty case. So you got a Twiz clone. Look at that. Heat miser. He's Mr. Heat Miser. Yep. Everything he touches melts in his clutches. Look at that. Look at that. You got plastic pants. Those don't look good on everybody, so be careful for those of you that have an idea you're going to buy plastic pants. Uh-oh. We're now having a lover's quarrel in the chat room. We are now having a lover's quarrel in the chat room. Yeah. Kyle remembers. Yeah, so I really got nothing more to really cover. That shit's crazy. Huh. So much fucking chaos in the world that it's just unimaginable that this country keeps going. No, I don't mind. Carl's complaining he's getting confused sometimes. He's not taking responsibility there, Ms. W. Carl, he's shirking his responsibility. Plastic pants. Well, you wore them in second grade. I don't know if that means, are you a boy or a girl? I don't know there, Carl. You know, you can't shh some woman and that's, you know. Butthole Betty is alone. Let's see here. BJ workouts. BJ workout leggings. No idea what the hell that means. Here comes Brian in his Barbie Jeep. Plaz is a guy. Plastic is a dude. Trump signed 4 women to take in 48,000. Trump signed 4 women to rake in 4,800 MOIF. You worked for, I don't know what that is. What does that mean, Miss Q? I have no idea what you're saying. What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. IDM, she got a picture too. Look at that. Look at that, Heather Fitzgerald. Boy, oh boy. 48 octillion followers on Twitch. I'm afraid Ms. W will violate the YouTube terms of service. So what the hell does this mean? Trump signed 4 women to rake in. He's got a thick shell. He's pretty old there, Miss W. That's a lot of work. That's a task you may not want to take on. I'd set that down and go do the dishes if I were you. Nobody can live. She beat her man up. Well, she must not have been dating a fucking man then, based on the description you guys have been giving me. Or the man just wouldn't hit her back, which is pretty much the course that I would take. No sense in hitting a woman back. Right? I mean, what's the point? She's going to hit you. You might as well just let her hit you. She'll wear out quick enough. You're amazed that I know what terms of service means? Jesus Christ. Yeah, JLR. 4,800 retirement for all women who worked 30 years. That's fine. What's wrong with that? That's good money. It's almost 60 grand a year. Good to see you. Petite. Everybody's loving on the petite. Look at that. A.R. Haynes was in my brain. Well, that's got to be crazy. I don't know if you want him in your brain. The official. A.R. Haynes, Emma, Lieutenant Drip Drop. Yeah, that fucking Drip Drop. What a trip that fucking guy is. Such a drama fucking promoter. Where are the tunnels, man? I want to know where them fucking tunnels are. I want to see how someone parachuted onto a fucking deck. I want to see how somebody climbed a tree with twigs sticking off it, bounced off the twig, and jumped onto the deck, and then climbed through a window just full, with fucking knickknacks and fucking, young girl stuff in the window. He was able to penetrate the window, get through a closed blind, not knock anything off the window sill, not damage the blind, put everything back in order, and then go and commit 2 murders. That fucking Drip Drop. He needs penicillin, that fucking guy. Crime circus. The guy's a lunatic. But since we're entertaining ourselves into extinction, he is one of those parties that are helping you, entertain yourself into extinction. Do you do dishes? D. I actually have. I avoid doing dishes. I have some real nice heavyweight paper plates and bowls. And that's how I roll. I put my T-bone steak on the cutting board and I cut it all up into pieces and put it on my plate. Butthole Betty did her mom dirty. Well, that's nice. Someone Mrs. Sean and Miss Q thinks that's sick. Poor Butthole Betty. She's always on the shit end of the stick. So that's why I call her Butthole. Butthole Betty. Uh-oh. The romance continues. Carl and Miss W. Sitting in the tree, I guess. But they might be in different trees based on what I've been hearing lately. So, Miss W and Carl Ferguson. Which, wait, I'll put this up there just for a second. Banners. There we go. Queen of the 5.63 billion morons that are associated with social media. Entertainment. Let's see. Bullhorn Betty beat up her mama and got arrested again. That's the most, that's as close to accurate as I can come to 5.63. I wanted to know how many people are on the globe, or online, and or social media. And that was the number that I was given. So, you know, I didn't vet the source or verify the source. It seemed correct considering there's over 8 billion people on Earth. That seemed like a fairly reasonable number. Right? Look at the poor country of Canada. They're having a shit fucking fit up there over Trump. Trump is panicking them fucking people up there. If Americans had real news, if Americans knew what was really why this was happening, and they didn't, you know, so many people have such hate for the guy. If they understood why he was doing what he was doing, they'd be on board with it. That's the best thing about willful ignorance. It's curable, but those that suffer from it have no interest in fucking fixing themselves. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a fucking crazy world. Some of the things Trump does, I completely disagree with. I can go over a fucking shit list of it. But on the whole, he is sort of on the right track, whether people like him or not. And that's all that should matter, right? So, who knows? It's been discovered that the auto pen, presidents do have what they call an auto pen, but the auto pen was used on pardons and all kinds of other shit by Joe Biden. Can you imagine? Some of these people that work for him could have filled out a pardon and set it down and let the auto pen sign it by President fucking Biden. And then that be turned in as a document, an order by the president to pardon. Executive orders that were issued by Biden were done on fucking auto pen. Can you fucking imagine that? That administration wasn't run by the president at all. It was run by everybody except him and Kamala. The bureaucracy was running that administration. Fucking insane, man. Bullhorn Betty is on SSD, Social Security Disability. A lot of your illegal immigrants, millions of them, are on Social Security Disability too. That's being ended. They ought to go back to their own country and get disability. Or if you were disabled, I want to know how you got from there to here over across thousands of miles. If you could have traveled that fucking road to get here, I don't think you're disabled. Emma Bailey is in chat. Where's Emma Bailey? What up, Emma? Emma. That don't look like Emma Bailey. Looks like a couple of black dudes. I don't know that they would. Maybe they're two people. One guy's named Emma and the other guy's named Bailey. That would make sense. She gets an SSD check. Well, she can't work my ass. Yeah. That shit shouldn't be allowed. She seems capable. Why not work a customer service job? Uh-oh. Carl likes her for the pine trees. We got the purge in here. The purge with the dog. Purging dogs. Not Persian dogs, but purge them. All right, folks, I'm going to call this one a night. It's been interesting for probably nobody. BJ with the leggings, Heidi. Yeah. That's something, right? Pine trees are forever. Those are forever green. We love them. I don't know what this is. Twiz is probably produced the most sensible thing he's ever said, and nobody can decipher it. Huh. That's a good one there, Twiz. Everybody be good. We'll talk with you again sooner or later. In the meantime, you know, all I can say is good night. Stay out of trouble or get in trouble. Just don't get caught. Don't fuck around in Moscow, Idaho. That could be a very, very dangerous place. And don't fuck around near I'd fuck around near the police stations that you know are corrupt. Then you probably can get away with murder. All right, we'll talk with you all again. Everybody be good. BJ with the workout leggings. I know. You guys want me all to fuck with Butthole Betty. And I don't know. I don't know. Sounds like if I wanted a quick BJ, I would just look for workout leggings. But I don't know. I can't say. Don't know you. But you do lead off with the blowjob or the BJ. That's a good quality, I suspect. Right? What the hell? Good night, everybody.